May I please call upon Venkatesh to introduce the author.
It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce the author of this wonderful book, When Change Happens. A thought leader for SAP, Lalit has led and managed organization transformations for help develop the new business models and leverage the cloud, mobile. He's also the design thinking champion for APG, an insight-based moderation methodology for creative.
The panelists, Mr. Murugapan, Sundararajan, Inan Kumaran, Mr. Ashwin, Director of Odissi, Mr. Chandu Nair, Mr. Venkatesh, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. At the outset, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Mr. Lalit Jagtiani for the launch of his book, When Change Happens. I also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Odissi and the distributor Notion Press Media. The title of the book, When Change Happens, makes me very curious. It sounds like a suspense novel. It shows that the writer, Mr. Lalit, has the knack of attracting the reader's attention from the title. The title is very, very simple but very striking. The title is very appropriate for the recent political developments in Tamil Nadu. When change happens, ... Even the most seasoned politicians are unable to predict what will be the state of Tamil Nadu politics 1 month from now. So when you put ... it makes the readers very, very curious. The author deals with the inherent resistance to change which is prevalent among most of us. The author gives us confidence to face changes and courage to deal with them. We all like to be in comfort zone, right? We like to have an assured career and a stable lifestyle. Whenever there is an intruder into our territory or whenever there is a potential threat to our position, we look at that person with a lot of suspicion, right? But we need to realize that we live in a very fast changing world, whether we like it or not. It is said that changes which happened in the 20th century surpass all the cumulative changes in 19 centuries put together. Just see how fast we are changing. Here I am reminded of the quote of Victor Hugo: "No force on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. Time and opportunity waits for none." I can give innumerable examples when disruptive technologies, disruptive economic policies dramatically changed the way of life and also forced thousands of people out of jobs. According to Indian history, when train was introduced for the first time in India, the palanquin lifters squatted on the railway track and protested against the introduction of train. When computers were introduced in India, all the trade unions in India were dead against the introduction of computers. Now you think of India without railways and computers. Can we? No. So that is the challenge that we need to face. Of course, we need to be compassionate about those who are going to be affected and also who are going to lose their jobs and livelihood whenever such technological changes happen. We in the government have been introducing a lot of schemes for skill development. I know many private organizations who have rehabilitated the employees and also imparted new skills whenever a technological advancement happens. Let's not forget that the human species is the most adaptable species on earth. Dinosaurs, the largest species on earth, became extinct because they could not adapt to change in the climatical environment. The adaptability in our human gene, let us not forget that. Very interesting in this book is the cartoon from the cover page. This cover page cartoon shows a dull person who's entering an office, gets rejuvenated at the entrance, and he becomes a very enthusiastic team worker. So this itself starts with a positive change, and every chapter has got a very, very meaningful cartoon. Whenever you see a cartoon, the visual impact really makes a lot of difference. In the first chapter, the author deals with the change management, and although it is a cliched quote, it is worth repeating here. Change is the only permanent thing on earth. Everything changes, but not the phenomenon called change, because the change will keep happening forever. In the second chapter, he deals with aspiration. I always wonder in my office how to motivate an unmotivated staff who do not have aspiration. It's the most difficult thing. So he answers all these questions. It is extremely difficult otherwise. And I wouldn't like to go into the details of the book, otherwise I would be stepping into the domain of the panelist. This book would be very relevant for the Indian readers at this juncture, as India is undergoing a rapid transformation. As you may know, India is the fastest growing large economy in the world, overtaking China. We overtook China last year. The international agencies like World Bank and IMF have described India as a bright spot in the world economy. That's the juncture at which we are now. So we should be mentally prepared to face changes. In my college days,
of why I wrote what I did and why it was important to me. So it all started when I had a very, very dear friend who used to buy a lot of books. And every once in a way, he would buy a management book, and I would be very impressed. We are reading such great stuff. He says, no, actually, I have a problem. In the night, I don't get sleep. So I read the book after first 2 pages and fast asleep. So I realized that, management books by definition, after a lot of intellectual, what we call verbal diarrhea as we call it, landed up boring a lot of people who are wanting to read them. So I said, can I try and look at it in a little different way? Management books don't have to be boring. At the same time, all interesting books don't have to be fiction. So that was the first dilemma that I played with, and I said, let me try out something a little different. The second thing is, when I kind of took on this whole role of change management 20 years ago, I was a very excited person, because suddenly, in my life I had something more important to do and made me feel a little more important, and go back to my wife and say, I'm doing a big thing and driving change in my company. She was very impressed at that point of time. So sometimes it's good to impress your wife once in a way. But then I read up a lot of books on change management. And we had training of some very, really, really wonderful consultants from all over the world came and trained us, and we were very kind of inspired, and we said, yes, this is it, we're going to be driving change. And then I set foot into the company, and my chairman announced that, this is our new team of change agents who will drive change in the company. I was very excited. I was standing on the stage, feeling very important. A lot of photographs were being taken. I took one home and showed it to my wife as well. And then next day morning, all my friends disappeared. Because suddenly they say, this guy seems to be the chairman's fellow. Don't tell him anything, because if he says anything, he will push it up to the management. So suddenly, all the friends in your organization disappear. Then suddenly everybody says, which political group do you represent? Do you represent this guy's group? Do you represent this woman's group? Do you represent this gentleman's group? And I was saying, no, my agenda is to drive change. And that is when I realized there is very little literature that tells you actually what happens in the change management program. Change management is not about just standing up there doing great communication and expecting people to listen. If that was the case, then long ago all of us would have changed, because ever since I was born, my parents have been telling me what I should do. Great communication skills, but very little following skills from my side. Then I had very good teachers and who told me this is what you should be doing. I said wonderful, never did any of it. Then I kind of got married and then my wife starts telling me what to do, and till today I think very little of it I do. So the point being, communication has its purpose. It gives clarity, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to follow whatever is done. Therefore, there has to be something more than that. Then came this whole concept of you must do stakeholder analysis. So we are given some very technical tools to do analysis, and then we analyze, are you a follower, are you a supporter, are you a political agent, whatever. And then we realized it's also theoretical. So I said, rather than look at all that, can we create an immersive experience to write what really happens in the change in an organization? But there's a fundamental challenge in that. The fundamental challenge is, obviously, the company that we work with, there's a confidentiality. I cannot reveal what really happens in a change management program, and that is the reason why case studies you see are mainly marketing documents. There's very little real stuff written which you should know about in a change management context. So that was the big challenge. So how can I let go of the confidentiality? So we said, let's forget the concept of which company this is. There could be, and this learning happens across multiple companies. So we created a totally fictional company. If you read this book, you won't even know which industry that company is. And the reason is deliberate. The reason is we want to totally mask the context. It's not important of the industry. Companies are made up of human beings. And then we created characters, and the characters also are Hollywood characters. So nobody can claim I wrote about them, unless they claim they were from Hollywood, which is a very different story. And then started writing about all the instances that you see in the book are real. They've actually happened. Some of them, sometimes it has worked, sometimes it has not worked. But once you go through that, you get a sense of what change management is all about. So when you then read the books of management, you read the books of theory, and you read this book, you get a feeling of how the theory plays out in the practical world, how this whole dynamic works. And that was really the intent of writing this book.
Here with us, sir. Thank you for accepting our invite. When you have such stalwart.
Anything goes.
Chandu and I, the moderator of this panel discussion this year, quite profitably, I presume, both the companies. The income tax commissioners are normally nobody administers the profits. So, part of Chennai Angels and on the board of Healthcare Fund, Falkra. He's also on the board of, also Rotarian of this district 3230. My pleasure to introduce my friend Chandu Nair, who will be moderating the.
Excellent. How many of you think that the world and things around us ought to change? How many of you are willing to change? So many people.